Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Great Model Collection Unboxing. This week we have a treat, hopefully. This is box number 8 for Breyer Fighting Stallion mold. I don't know what this will be, we'll find out. So let's start with this guy. This is the Breyer Fighting Stallion in Bay. He looks to me like he is the original Bay. They did reissue this model as a special run, sort of, for Toys R Us. Substantially similar, just a little different shading on the paint job. But a collector, especially when you hold the two next to each other, would be able to tell because of the paint differences between the original run and the special run. The Fighting Stallion mold was issued in the early 60s, 61, 62, has been in production ever since. The mats were issued, they started issuing them in glossy, they switched over to matte mid to late 60s and then produced them in this bay color all the way through the 70s and 80s. So he's pretty common, but this one's in very nice condition. He has very nice shading, body shading. Not hardly any rubs that I see, so he is a very nice example of the original issue Fighting Stallion. And one of the other little details you'll find on the original sometimes is either some fuzzy residue or some little pads on the bottom. Those are the earlier horses. This guy does not have that, so he is a mid-issue Bay Fighting Stallion in matte. And let's do, this guy looks like he is going to be a glossy, wow, he is gorgeous. This is a glossy Palomino Fighting Stallion, so it's one of the original issue colors. He is not in the best of condition. He has a definite ear chip or ear break. He's missing about the top quarter of his ear. He's got some rubs, big rubs on this hip. But this is an absolutely gorgeous, very pale example of this color. This is beautiful. I don't think I've seen one this pale before. Just lovely. And he does not have hoof pad remnants. And if I was a collector, I would definitely buy this piece and restore it because he is just gorgeous. I love this very light caramel color. The gloss is just very high and rich on him. Really pretty horse. Just is going to take some restoration for all the rubs and damage to him. But a very nice example of the mold. Very pale, almost no paint on the hooves. Really, really nice model. And this guy looks like another original. Well, he is the Alabaster Fighting Stallion in matte. So this was after the glossy era. He has almost no body shading. This particular example just has the gray on his hooves and the little pink on the muzzle, a little black on the eyes. Almost no other body shading, which is fairly common for this guy. He again doesn't have any hoof pad remnants. So he was made for a very, very long time. But he is in beautiful condition, has almost, I don't see any black marks, I don't see hardly any shiny spots, no breaks, no chips. A really nice example of this particular mold. And I believe our next ones are going to be kind of late 80s, early 90s. This guy was a regular run, I believe, made for, back in that time period, they would make regular runs for 5 or 6 years. He is what's considered the splatter dapple, Appaloosa color. He's got splatters all over. He even gets splatters on his nose. He has splatters all the way up onto his face. He has the shading on his knees and hooves and mane and tail. I really like this example. You don't always see them that have quite this extreme Appaloosa splattering on all the way up onto his face. I think he's a very cute example of this particular style of paint job. He does have 1 or 2 little splatters in places that they shouldn't be, but overall he's in good condition. He's got a few little rubs, but I really like this guy. You could see when the painter was doing the splattering, the directionality of the paint that they were flinging. It would have been interesting to see them in the workshop making this particular paint job. But he's a really nice example, and I really like him. He's very cute. And next we have, let's do this guy. He is, I think he was a special run. This looks to me like he was the Just About Horses special run. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's kind of just this very orangey or peachy dun color. He has a bald face and one bald front foot or white front foot. He's in very nice condition. He has what Breyer attempted to do here in the back legs. They tried to do a little leg barring, which was a kind of he also has the dorsal stripe back here, which is kind of the primitive markings that you'll find on this color sometimes. Not very realistic, but they were trying to up their game. This is mid-90s, and they were really trying to improve their paint jobs, and so they were adding these details. This was the era when they would occasionally do the bi-eyes, they would do the leg barring, and they would really try and do a little extra fancy paint job other than some of the originals that were just a shaded beige, shaded palomino. They really tried to do a little special with this guy, and he's in pretty nice shape. He has an occasional shiny spot, but not too bad. A nice example of this particular color. And our last horse, this is called Chaparral. I think he was a limited edition, again, sometime during the 90s. So he would have been produced, what they considered limited edition was they would fulfill all orders for that particular year. So he would be limited to only, say, 1992. He doesn't have any marks on him that tell me his year. But you could only get him that year, and then he was discontinued. So he was marketed a little bit differently. He has a very nice, he's a buckskin pinto. Again, they tried to go a little crazy with the white streaks in his tail and the or the black and white mane. A little bit of black on the legs up here. Not realistic, but they were trying. They were definitely moving away from the sort of generic colors to try and do a little fancier. He has a blaze on his face. So this guy is, these examples were just Breyer trying to get a little bit more exciting paint job, trying to up their game a little bit, and he is another very nice example. I don't see hardly any rubs, just a few little tiny shiny spots. So he is a very nice example. And that's our box for this week. So another box down, and hopefully you'll join me next week and we'll see what's in the next box. Thank you.